get chopped up aboard it.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
That intro right there. The crowd going wild. All right, good afternoon. Welcome to WDC Radio. I'm your host. I am WDC. I want to thank you for tuning and listening in to today's show. Got a very special, heartfelt show for you. You know that we always celebrate our fallen soldiers. You know, me being in the military, you know, we celebrate fallen soldiers in the military, and so I brought this same work to the sickle cell community. So we lost another soldier to the battle of sickle cell, and so I have a family member, his sister Latoya, is going to be calling in. She should be there.
Hello.
Hey Latoya, how are you?
I'm good. I'm kind of nervous. It's my first time doing radio.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm nervous too, so we just both be nervous together.
Okay.
So again, I want to thank you for calling in and taking time out to share about your brother's life experience. I was talking to Dr. Bailey a couple days ago, and we were saying how in the past just about 7 weeks there has been almost a loss posted. I mean, almost every day, if not within a couple of days. So thank you for calling in and being open up to share your brother's story with us here on WDC Radio.
Yeah. No, it's just like it's just crazy, you know. Like my brother, he was only 25 years old when he died. So he would have been 26 in November. That's my younger brother. I'm the oldest out of three, and it's really sad. So it's really sad.
So let's start with actually let me give me 1 second. Also, for the second half of the show, as you can see here, Candace is here, Candace Price, and she's going to be sharing her story living with sickle cell on the second half of the show. But you're more than welcome, Candace, to chime in as this conversation goes on. You've been an advocate for sickle cell, so you're more than welcome to chime in with me with Latoya. So feel free. So Latoya, let's go back in time a little bit. Who is Latoya? Let's start with you as far as who is Latoya.
Oh, I'm Latoya. I'm the older sister.
Okay. What's your life living with sickle cell trait or sickle cell disease? What's your life experience?
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people don't know what sickle cell is, but you know, if you have family and, you know, you have friends and stuff that have it, you know, all I tell people is, you know, don't be afraid, because people look at people different, you know, and I have the trait of sickle cell, so it is crazy, but my brother, he was born with it, you know. Basically, you know, I'm the oldest out of three kids.
Yeah.
It's me, it's my sister Denise, which is the middle, and it's my brother who has sickle cell, Robert.
Okay.
My sister and my brother, they have the same father. So basically, anybody that knows what sickle cell is a hereditary disease, you know, from, I guess, like from one parent, from both parents and stuff. So, and I mean, basically, my sisters and my brother have the same father. I have different fathers. So when my sister was born, they was like, you know, mother told my mother she couldn't have any more kids, and my brother was born. So basically, it passed down from my sister, and it went straight to my brother. So my brother lived with it like every day, you know.
So what do you remember? Like, let's go back. What do you remember about your little brother growing up? Let's go back to his childhood days. What do you remember when he was growing up him living with sickle cell?
You know, he wanted to be a normal child. He wanted to be normal. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. You know, like any child, like they want to, I mean, how can I put it? He wanted to be active more, you know. Right. He wanted to have a real job, you know. He has to go to the doctor a lot, so it's a lot, you know. Right. It's a lot. So he wanted to have children, you know, but my brother, he couldn't have kids, so.
So what do you remember as a sister to your little brother? You know, him being in a crisis. Did he come to you? Like, what was that relationship like?
Well, like I said, I'm the old. I lived in New York. My brother lives in Florida. My middle sister. Okay. And it's just like a little kind of weird because, you know, it's his father's family side out there. That, you know, they live out there. So I don't. My brother basically was living with me, and he moved to Florida because, you know, he wanted to. I guess he wanted to be grown and he wanted to do what he wanted to do and stuff, explore life. But he was like, it's hard when you have it, you know. Yeah. He wanted to be a normal person. He wanted to work. You know, he wanted to be able to do a lot of things. He couldn't do a lot of things. He had to miss school some days. So,
from your view from being with him, you know, give us your point of view as far as, you know, I've interviewed people. They say sometimes the siblings don't understand. You know, what was your relationship? Did you feel like he was getting favorite, you know, being the favorite because he was sick a lot, or did you understand that he needed more attention and more care?
Yeah, he needed more teaching and more care. And him being with my middle sister, she has a baby. She don't really know. And I don't have children. I know it sounds funny. I'm 31. I live alone. You know, I'm like a little disabled from my jaw, but.
That's not funny.
Yeah, that's not funny. That's
not funny.
You're like a lot of us.
There's a lot of single women.
So yeah, don't discount yourself on that.
My brother, he could eat. I remember he used to be busting it down like he liked to eat seconds. My brother was like 100 pounds, but he could eat. But he was very active. He drank a lot of water and stuff, but my brother, he wanted to just be happy. I guess it's, you know, like I said, I don't know, you know, if everybody's hearing, but, you know, like I said, it's three of us. You know, me, my sister, and my brother. Yeah. And my mother, she died of breast cancer in 97. So it was a little hard because, you know, my mother was sick and my brother was sick. Right. We had two home attendants in the house 7 days a week. That's why people don't understand my story. Yeah. My mother and my brother were sick, and it's crazy. So and my mother had a home attendant for seven days a week. My brother had 5. You know, my mother, she had cancer and it spread to her liver, and that's when she died. And she couldn't take care of us. And I have a grandmother who, I guess, you know, she raised us. My mother's mother, she has breast cancer, so that's what happened. She started raising my brother, and my brother wanted to move to Florida. You know, the family didn't treat him well out there. There wasn't a proper care in that hospital. Yeah. So
hospital care is an issue, seems to be across the country. So that hospital experience is off the chain.
Hospital experience is crazy.
What can you say about the hospital experience, Candace?
Oh, I got a lot to say about the hospital experience. You know, I didn't cuss doctors out before. You know, they tend to treat us like junkies and crackheads instead of a patient that's sick with a chronic illness. Right. So, you know,
it's just wild.
Yeah, it's real wild.
So, Latoya, I want you. You know, I'm listening to you speak and stuff, and you know, nobody can define what normal is. You know, people are born with inherited genes, diseases. So, to say normal life. You know, what is really a normal life today? Nobody can really determine what that is. So, you know.
Well, I mean, and it's so crazy because people look at people that have, like, you know, people try to bash people that's sick, like, oh, they just, you know, they need more help. They treat them, you know, with attention. But you have people that, you know, they get killed for different reasons. You know, it's violence in this world. There's a lot of stuff in this world, but it's a shame. These years, the generation was totally different. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people, a lot of children, cops, everyone's getting murdered one by one every day. It's ridiculous.
So a lot of stuff is happening in life. How do you, growing up with your brother, you know, mentally, how did you handle your mental stress around your brother? Because sickle cell affects the entire family, not just the person living with the disease, but the family. So how did you mentally deal with yourself as far as seeing your brother in pain in times?
Oh, it's like, like I said, I have a mother who had breast cancer. She let it spread to her liver and the bugs, and she passed away. So, I had I had actually 3 people, and actually breast cancer runs in my family. So it was like my great-grandmother passed away of breast cancer, then my mom passed away of breast cancer, and my grandmother, she's still alive. She'll be 69, and that's the one who raised us. So, it's been a lot of people in our family that's sick, and it's not easy, People look at us different, and it's really sad, It's really sad. I have to be careful too. Just because I have the trait, I have to be very careful. I tried to date someone in a relationship that had sickle cell, and we couldn't even be together. That's the worst thing. So, you have to see a lot of doctors and stuff. So it's too much.
Latoya, something I want to say to you is that one thing growing up, I realized that only the strong survive. I'm sick. I was raised by my grandmother who was sick, and I watched my grandmother die from lung cancer from smoking cigarettes. And, that was my guardian. And when I lost her, I felt like I was lost in this world. I was lost to society. I had to find myself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Latoya, what don't kill you, baby girl, would only make you stronger. And remember, the strong survive.
Yeah.
So you didn't get to where you are now to give up and let everything go.
Right.
We always gonna have haters, and we always gonna say, oh, that person not sick. Oh, they acting like they sick, or the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
But it's with you.
But my brother, he didn't want to be here anymore. He was suffering. It's sad, He was really suffering. He was reaching out for help, and my situation is really different. He wanted to be with my mother. He wanted to work. He couldn't. He had a job. It was the heat bothering him and all that. So it was crazy. So
we're gonna show a picture.
Yeah.
We're gonna show a picture of your brother. Let's was he open? Do you know when he was growing up? Was he open enough to share sickle cell with his friends? Like, what do you know about when you guys were together? Did he talk about sickle cell, or was he kind of standoffish?
Yeah, my brother was very stubborn. He had a few. It's so crazy. He had a few. I didn't even know he had a lot of friends that we went to. We grew up together that had it. That's crazy. And to this day, I wouldn't even know. But we had, he really didn't. He talked about it, but he didn't really talk about it. He was like one of them people that was stubborn, like, oh, I don't want to go to the doctor, and why do I? It was just a struggle,
Yeah.
It was a struggle, but he should have been safer back in New York instead of Florida. So
yeah,
it had a lot to do with the hospital, and it's the worst thing for someone to. My brother had a lot of family. I'm so serious on his father's side, and it's crazy. And he died by himself. No one was at the hospital. I'm in New York.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing, to die by yourself. At least, come on. I mean, it's sad. That's just the worst thing.
What? Go ahead, Candace.
All right. I be in the hospital a lot, and my blood family, they don't come see me. They do not come see me. I don't get no flowers, no nothing. But from my from my friends, I get visits, I get food, I cuss them out and they accept it. But it just be for the moment, because I be in pain and frustrated. But I don't mean no harm to cuss them out, because they do come see me, and it's nothing like feeling alone out there in this world. I mean, society is so corrupted, and when you got family but you don't got family, it's like, what else you can do?
Yeah.
So that's where you step outside the box and make your friends your family, because the friends that I have, they treated me better than my family ever have treated me.
And you want to look at, you want to try and take a look at both sides. As like I said, she's a sibling of a person living with sickle cell that live with sickle cell. You got to find out or listen to how that disease impacts that family. And sometimes the siblings just don't get it. Sometimes they're more hurt than
trying to
understand. So
right.
there's these things that happen between families. I'm not to defend anybody, but you got to really look at human beings and how we function. That sometimes that sadness pushes you away from that person. So how do you connect if you don't understand, or you think you don't understand? So there's a lot that goes on in the dynamics about sickle cell that people don't really talk about, because it just gets pushed over like, well, I don't have family support. But then you got to really dig deep and say, you know what, maybe my sister didn't understand. Maybe not my dad didn't understand, is why he left. Or maybe, there's so much that this disease hurts families.
But sometimes we tend to feel like, we are a burden.
See, there you go. Exactly.
We are a burden on.
They don't have nowhere to go. All the family don't like each other. They hate one another.
But that's everybody's family, though.
Yeah.
But see, you can't label sickle cell with just it affects a family negative. You just take sickle cell out of that conversation. You got families don't get along just on GP.
Yeah, because I got aunties that I'm ready to tag, but I can't do that. You feel me? I just keep peace and not excuse my French, F with them, whatever. But
you add sickle cell to that family, to that conversation, it's like it changes the whole dynamic of that family.
That's like them beefing. Sickle cell in the family.
Yeah,
that ain't gonna work. Not at all, because you gonna always be with sickle cell. Sickle cell always gonna be there, but your family, they not always gonna be there for you.
But how do you not feel like you're a burden on your family? Like that comes from within.
No, how do you feel when you don't want to deal with negativity and drama?
Right.
I tell people by the end of the day, or you gotta have family. Don't get to go close together when a person die, or depending on, it don't matter what they have or what happened. Don't say. It's sad. Your friends do treat you better than your own family. It's crazy.
Yeah, most definitely. But like I was saying, we tend to feel like a burden.
Yeah. Because
at times when we in the sickle cell crisis, we be feeling helpless.
Yeah.
But me personally, I done had different experience to.
Don't tell her your whole story now, because you go on the next.
I wasn't gonna go in. I was just gonna throw a little spit.
Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
But me personally, like I didn't have friends to where, family. I'd be sick, and one of them would be like, "Oh, let me go up here to the hospital to see what's going on. She ain't sick."
Yeah.
But the whole time I'd be sick, and it's like we already be depressed and going through whatever it is that we're going through, so we don't need no negativity coming our way. So me personally, I push everybody away and delete them out my life like the backspace button. I'm just saying.
Latoya, what do you want the listeners to know about your brother? I mean, I'll take that back. What led up to him going into the hospital in this crisis? Do you know? Were you in communication with him up until that point when he went into the hospital?
Well, it had a lot to do with my sister. Me and my sister, we don't get along. She has a baby. She can't take care of a sick child and the baby.
Yeah.
My brother was like, he was taking care of his nephew too. She had him like a father, and he had sickness. You can't. Excuse me, I have a bad cold. I'm so sorry. I've been sick for the last 2 days. I'm so sorry. Excuse me, but what I'm saying is, they was like neglecting him out here. He was depressed, and it was too much. That's it.
And so, what happened as far as when he went to the hospital? What as far as from your perspective, what went on?
They just said that he was in pain. Oh, I'm so sorry. They said he was in pain, and he went to the hospital himself, and they said his liver stopped. That's what they said.
Was that liver failure?
Yeah.
How was they treating his pain?
Like the doctors, I don't know, honestly.
She's in New York, so he's in Florida.
I'm in New York.
Yeah, so they were in separate. They were in separate. What do you want the listeners to know about your brother?
He just wanted to be a normal person. If he wanted to work like a regular person, he didn't want to get just disability. I mean, let's be real, and being serious. He wanted to rap. He used to rhyme. I don't really get into the rhyme because I don't know how to do how he spit, but he could. My brother knew how to draw.
Yeah,
he was a good drawer. He knew how to draw good.
Give me
he was really funny.
Give me one of your most memorable moments with your brother experience. Give us one of those positive memories.
Oh my God, it's so many of them.
Give me one.
With my brother, I can't. Every time I'm with my brother, he's funny. Actually, he just. It's like when he come in the room, he start cracking jokes on people. It's fun. No, my brother, I told you, he has a very good. He has a. See, people don't know, they have an appetite on them. And my brother used to come to the house and eat up my whole loaf of bread every time he comes to the house. And he's bony. I'm like, yo, you like 90 pounds, 100 pounds.
We represent the skinny people.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
They weighed out your house. That was the funniest thing about my brother. He come in, he open the refrigerator, and then he look up for the bread.
Yeah. You know, what do you want the world to know about sickle cell? Let's take this back. What do you want the world to know about sickle cell trait? I'm a trait carrier, you're a trait carrier, so we got some bloodline. We family. Mm-hmm. So as far as what you know about sickle cell trait, you mentioned, dating and all that stuff. What do you want the world to know about sickle cell trait by itself?
Well, I mean, it's not sickle cell anemia. I mean, it's similar, but it's just a trait. And basically, you can't be with nobody that has sickle cell anemia or somebody that has the trait. Chances are, it'll become sickle cell anemia.
Yeah, there's a 1 in 4 chance that you can have a child. If you date someone, if your mate has sickle cell trait or thalassemia trait, so let's educate the community about the different hemoglobinopathies. So if you have sickle cell trait,
but I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Some people are not born with sickle cell trait. Some people can catch it years later.
That's not correct.
And people don't know.
No,
that's not correct.
What happens?
That's not correct.
No, what happens sometimes is people are misdiagnosed, and then they are not tested, or they're not tested, and they don't find out until later on in age.
That's what happened to me, actually.
Okay, so give me a quick story about what happened to you about sickle cell trait.
Well, I got something in the mail that said stamped sickle cell trait. I just started going crazy.
So how did you get that letter? Did you go somewhere and have a blood test done or something like so?
Yeah, it was so funny because I was going for a job. I've been with them. I was doing security actually. Okay. Now let me tell you, funny story, y'all. No shade. I was working for security in 2005.
Okay.
I started. I was working for a city bank. I was doing security.
Okay.
And I went for a job. I had to get blood tests and everything. They come back and they telling me they need to run another test or something, he said. And I'm like, what? I started panicking. I even called off from the job. I said, I just take an active leave. I'm serious. So then they sent me the paper in the mail and it was stamped like that, and I panicked again.
Right.
And that's when I called, and they, and I was like, oh my God, I got, scared because, like I said, I didn't really know about it a lot, but I knew that my brother was sick, my mother was sick.
And
I knew the names, but I didn't really study it at a young age.
How old were you? How old were you when you had that screening done?
My mother, she died in 97, so I'll be maybe 2000. Yeah, around 2000 and something. Like I said,
how old were you?
I was around 2005.
How old were you when you had that screening done? How about that?
Well, I'm 31, so I can't calculate right now. So yeah. 2004.
So you went somewhere in
11 years.
So you
21.
You went 20-something years not knowing that you had sickle cell trait, is what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, when I went to the doctor and I went to get the, the blood test or whatever for the job, because I was trying to get the job for a long time. So when they said, "Oh, you have to come in for this," and I was confused. So I didn't really know. I was struggling, but it came to going to the doctor. I was scared. I don't like needles. I cried.
So you understand that you were born with that gene, right?
Yeah,
okay.
I had to realize that my brother had to get needles. It was a lot,
So just so you understand, it happens. when I found out I had sickle cell trait, I was 29. So I was 10 years. I was 10 years in the military.
How old are you now?
I'm 45.
I thought you was
You 45?
Yeah, I'm 45. Don't trip. So
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm 31. So I mean,
it happens.
You know, it's really crazy how you find out.
It happens. I was 29 years old. So there's a lot of people today that are walking around that don't know they carry this sickle cell trait gene, and that's why we're here to broadcast this show so people become aware of sickle cell trait, sickle cell disease, and all the different aspects, even the loss of a loved one with sickle cell. So you have to understand there's a lot of people with sickle cell trait, thalassemia trait, hemoglobin C trait, D trait that don't know they carry these inherited genes. And when you come in contact with a person with sickle cell trait, if my mate has thalassemia trait, look at T-Boz, she has sickle cell thalassemia because one of her parents had thalassemia. So you have people born with sickle cell SS, SC, sickle cell thalassemia, SD. So couples need to know what genes you carry. And that's very, very, very important.
That's why they say don't have sickle cell sex.
Stop. Hey, that's the campaign. Stop sickle sex. And my PSA is, are you having sickle sex? So, Latoya, what do you want the world to know about sickle cell disease?
So basically, I mean, you want me to give the definition or you want me to give you my definition? Because I'm going to just give it to people who are, like, you know.
We like it real.
Yeah, we want to know what do you want them to know about your brother as far as living with sickle cell? It's very important.
Well, people don't know that, you know, it's a lot of work. Like I said, you have to take needles, you have to go for blood transfusions. That's really the worst, you know. I have to see my brother take needles, you know. It's I don't know the words, the term. When it comes to pronounce the words, I see the words, I know what the word is.
Yeah, that's okay.
But if that scientific words they come out with nowadays, I start learning it, studying it, and it's crazy, you know. It's just, you just gotta basically, it's basically, it's not your fault. It's not no, like, I don't want people to take offense. It's not like it's, you know, AIDS or whatever, like a sex, like from
it's not.
You know what I'm saying? It's something that was born from a parent, you know.
Exactly.
It's a hereditary disease. So it's not your fault, you know. I don't want people to think, oh, well, why this happened? It's, you know, it's not your fault, you know. People are born like that every day, so that's basically it.
Latoya, I want to thank you for being my guest in such a tough time of your life with your brother. You know,
I actually didn't cry, y'all.
That's good.
See, it's not that bad.
I was nervous. I was so nervous I didn't even cry.
I told you the strong survive.
It's cool. We appreciate.
I was crying my eyes out because it's like I can't believe my brother is dead. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, he's
that's
still,
the worst thing ever.
He still lives, and you can still be a voice for him and share his story. You know, help us educate our own community first of all. You know, and then we can, by us educating ourselves, we can start to educate people around us. So again, thank you for calling in and being open to share. And if there's anything that, you know, we can help you out with, feel free to contact me, and we can see if we can get some resources. Do you guys have a funeral date yet? Anything with the funeral?
Well, he's actually having 2 funerals. I'm not, you know, with the dates, but I know he's having one for the 17th and the 18th in Florida.
Okay.
And then they're sending him to New York.
Okay.
I believe the 19th.
Okay.
For in New York. So anybody, you know, wants to come, and you know, and it's actually so crazy because Robert has a lot of friends that he went to school with that I didn't even know that they had it.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen a lot of his, you know, patients that when he went to the doctor. I know someone that he actually used to go and get the blood transfusion from. They used to come the same days, and he had sickle cell, and his girlfriend had it, and they was a couple. They came together, and it was crazy. But you know,
that's our community.
I actually, you know, it's a lot of, you know, friends that he went to school that love him. So if anybody's interested in coming, you know, just I guess whoever's hearing this has my number, my Facebook.
I'll be in communication with you, and I'll make sure I post, you know, updates on the social media, on my Twitter and Instagram at IMWDC. So again, Latoya, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you. Sorry for coughing on the phone.
That's okay. Hey, it's reality radio. That's what happens when you live. You know,
drink a
Don't
hot
worry
toddy.
about it.
All right.
All right. So thank you. We appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. again, this is WDC. Man, that's another reality about sickle cell.
It gets real.
Loss.
It gets real.
I can't even. I got sisters. I can't even imagine what that feels like to lose we lose loved ones. I lost my grandmother. I know it took me years to get past that. So for a sibling, I have no idea what that even feels like to manage that. So I just want to thank her for that, for calling in. So we're gonna take a quick break. My title sponsor is Mast Therapeutics. So we're gonna play a commercial from them, and then we'll be back with Candace and her story living with sickle cell. So don't go nowhere. Any more information about sickle cell trait awareness? WDCONSCT.org. You can get all my information about sickle cell trait. Be right back. LA Talk Live.
This program is provided with funding from Mast Therapeutics, sponsors of the EPIC study, a clinical trial for sickle cell disease. For more information, please visit www.theepicstudy.com.
Hi, this is Chef D Nice of Catering by D Nice, and I'm inviting you to join us each and every Sunday at 2 p.m. for the Veterans Day live radio show. Join us as we provide info that will help all military personnel. So don't forget to tune in to Veterans Day Live every Sunday at 2 p.m. exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio. Or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
This program is provided with funding from Mast Therapeutics, sponsors of the EPIC study, a clinical trial for sickle cell disease. For more information, please visit www.theepicstudy.com.
All right, welcome back to WDC Radio. I'm your host. I am WDC. Again, if you want to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am WDC. Shouts out to my daughter SCTD. She's not here, but I think she's coming back next Saturday, so she'll be here. You can follow her on Twitter at WDCONSCT. Also, again, if you want more information about sickle cell trait, go to www.wdconsct.org. Also, we have a campaign for our sickle cell community. It's called the IB for Life. So today's first half of the show was brought to you by our fallen soldiers. So we actually have a bead for our fallen soldiers. So we have a red bead for those who live with the different types of traits. We have the black bead for those who are educated through our campaign. We have the yellow bead for the fallen soldiers, people who lost family members to sickle cell disease or sickle cell trait. And then we have the green bead, who represents people who live with sickle cell. And so this is going to help us bring awareness to the community, to the globally. My friend Andre, he's in Canada, so it was his vision, and he allowed me to be a partner in this campaign. And so it's an international national campaign for sickle cell trait and sickle cell disease, and this is going to be one of the ways that we educate our community. The funds is $5 donation. Half of those funds will go to an account where we can help people who lost a loved one. That's his part of it, is to help people who lost loved ones. People have car washes, sometimes people that like sickle cell don't have insurance. So to have to bury that person, is a financial hardship on families. So we want to be able to, verify the death and maybe contribute some funds to that family. My half of those funds will go to sickle cell trait testing. I'm a sickle cell trait advocate. So it's gonna help support two different, things in our community. Funding for burials and also sickle cell trait testing. So you can go to WDCSCT.org and you can find your voice in this campaign. Candace, You and I crossed paths a few years ago.
I want to say about 5 years ago.
maybe three. Maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I was a World Sickle Cell Day, I believe, an event.
Yes,
at a church in LA.
Absolutely.
Reintroduce yourself to the community.
Well, my name is Candace Price. I'm 29 years old.
What?
Yes.
No, I'm just gonna get you back.
I'm 29 years old, and I was diagnosed with sickle cell at the age of 5.
At 5.
Yes.
Now, let's go back. What do you remember? Did your parents know they had sickle cell trait? Do you know if they knew that?
Nah, they didn't know, but it's a twist.
It's a twist.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a twist.
We can leave it closed, or you want to open that twist?
I could open it, but the twist is, all right. I found out when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
I was going swimming.
Okay.
And after a week of swimming, I've been in pain every day and didn't know why.
Ah.
So my guardian finally took me to the hospital, to the doctor, and got blood tests and stuff.
Yeah.
And they found out that I had full-blown sickle cell disease, but my brother didn't.
Okay. And
when the doctor came in, gave the results, it was like, okay, so how you got it and he don't?
Right.
So back then I should have knew that, we didn't have the same dad.
Okay.
So from what I know, my dad and my brother dad are brothers.
Okay.
So it's that's the twist.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the twist.
So 5 years old, you went swimming.
Yes.
And had a crisis.
My ankles was aching. I was laying on the floor crying. Didn't know what was going on. It felt like somebody was just stabbing me in my ankles with an ice pick or something.
And how did they eventually take you to the hospital? What was going on?
It was just a regular physical.
Yeah.
And they had did blood tests, and they found out, I had sickle cell.
So at 5 years old, now people don't realize that 5-year-olds are smart. we underestimate the toddlers and the 5-year-olds. So what do you remember during that time frame as being told that you have sickle cell?
Well, I remember, really not understanding and knowing that I couldn't do a lot of things that other kids could have done, like normal kids. Well, I'm normal, but
obviously swimming was a trigger.
Yeah.
Obviously. No more pool.
No more pool. I need a surf suit. Give me a surf suit. But so it just limit me to a lot of things to do in life, as far as playing with the kids or
What do you remember as growing up in elementary school? Did you have to kickball? Were you active, or
growing up in elementary, I was very active, and I wanted to be more active because they told me not to do it.
So the more they said sit down and
I stood up. I stood up. So one thing, all right, this is how I feel about it. Like, sickle cell is depressing.
Yeah.
It'll leave you down and it'll have you down. So
what's depressing about sickle cell? Tell me that.
First off, getting somebody else's blood, that is depressing.
So the transfusions?
Yeah. That's one thing that's depression. That and just being in the hospital, being on thousands of medication that they say supposed to help with one problem, but then the next thing you know, it's causing other problems, and now you got something else wrong with you that you didn't have before you started taking that medicine in the beginning. So
definitely side effects of medication. I know that's my number one fear is medication side effects. So as far as growing up with the kids and playing, were you open to share that you had sickle cell, or what was your point of view?
No, I wasn't really open because of the kids that I was surrounded by. They were like, well, now I'm older. I realized that they were bullies. And I got bullied a lot.
Yeah. What was that experience like for you? Like, what would they say?
First, they'd call me out my name. Then they'd tell me, like, that's why I'm failing in school. Like, I don't come to school because I'll be sick in and out the hospital or whatever. They'd tease me. whatever. I used to be skinny. So they had teased me about that, call me Skinny Bone Jones.
Oh, yeah, I got that one.
Yeah. Skinny Bone Jones, Slim Jim.
My daughter gets that too. We got the skinny jeans. So how did you deal with that as a little girl mentally? Like, how did you deal with that stress?
Really? I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah. Did you fight back? Did you just?
Oh yeah.
Did you?
Of course.
Yeah. So what did you do?
I mean, they chased me and I chased them, and I got to fighting. And once I started fighting, well, probably after 10 years of fighting, I realized fighting to make me go into a sickle cell crisis.
The exertion, huh?
Yes. So I don't like to fight. I'm a peacemaker. But if you bring it, we could start some bull.
Looking at where you are now and looking back to that little young person. Mentally now, what do you think was going on with Candace mentally back then?
Well, mentally, my head was fucked up. I was raised in a broken home.
Yeah.
Dealing with, the abuse and whatever it was that was going on at home, and dealing with sickle cell with, having a guardian to instead of to tend to you, they mistreat you.
Yeah.
That's like, instead of protecting you, they neglect you.
Right.
So I didn't really have, my uncle, I had one uncle, he stayed at the hospital with me.
Yeah.
And, that right there, it wasn't nothing.
You had some support.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing better I could ask for. That was like up to the 3rd grade, 4th grade.
Yeah.
And then it just stopped. So I had a step auntie that used to come and help me at the hospital.
Yeah.
And she was also around when I got hit by a car.
Okay.
And I ended up in the hospital.
So sickle cell is just an added attraction.
Man, it is. I mean, slowly but surely, it's.
Give me. We talked about off the air about hospital experience. What's your hospital experience been like?
My hospital experience have been. Well, I'm gonna speak about the recent ones.
Okay.
My recent experience. Well, I'm a weed head. Excuse me. I'm a weed head. I'm a pot head. But they say don't smoke with everybody. Okay. So I thought I was smoking some weed. Well, I was smoking some weed on my own. And, somebody came up, like, matching a blunt. And next thing I know, I don't remember how I got home.
Wow.
So the next day, I ended up in the hospital.
Okay.
And I had family asking me, what was wrong with you last night, what was going on.
Right.
I couldn't tell them. So I ended up going to the hospital, and I don't have good veins.
Okay.
And I don't have good veins because of the hospital stay and back and forth to the hospital.
Right.
So they assume that I shoot up.
Oh.
So they treat me like a heroin addict.
Okay.
But this one particular time, I was in a very bad crisis from, like, my shoulders down.
Yeah. I
couldn't really do nothing for myself. And the doctor, she was so worried about, I guess, drug testing me because I didn't got no veins, as you can see. So she wanted to give a drug test to make sure I wasn't using any heroin. Oh. And it came back positive for something else. So they kicked me out the hospital.
Shut up. In a crisis.
In a crisis. And
now, you don't have a port?
No. Oh, no. The life I live.
You say no ports?
No port.
No port?
No, the life I live. I'm from the streets. I'm from Compton, Long Beach, Carson, in L.A.
So that port is a soft spot, huh?
Man, I'm not driving. I'm walking. I ain't got time to be fighting nobody out there in them streets and get hit or that.
Yeah, so no port.
No port.
So how do you deal with going to if you need transfusion still or no more transfusions?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I'm gonna be real.
Go ahead.
Like, I don't go to the doctor every day like everybody else do to go get their checkup.
Okay.
And I feel like, you go to the doctor to get better, but you go to the doctor and you just get worse.
Yeah.
So everybody I know that, got a port, they having symptoms from that port to where now it's causing artery issues in the inside.
Yeah.
And, it's like, okay, I understand we need it, but I don't know. I'm trying to avoid. If I could avoid it, I'm going to avoid it. So the only time I really do go to the hospital is when I'm in pain.
Yeah.
and I can't handle the pain no more because it'd be endless pain.
So from your point of view, there's a whole conversation about smoking weed and having sickle cell, and it helps medically. What's your stand on the weed and medical?
I need an edible.
So you can take it without smoking it. You believe in eating it, and
I believe in eating it. I believe in drinking it. I believe in it all.
And how do you feel? How do you
THC? It relaxes the body.
Yeah,
it relaxes the body.
Cool.
It done been times where I've been real tense and haven't had any medicine. Motrin, Tylenol don't work, so I'd rather,
And that helps your...
That it relaxes me. It'll put me to sleep for a moment. And if that crisis is too bad, then it'll wake me up out of my sleep.
Exactly.
So, that's how I deal with that.
So junior high school, what was going on with Candace in junior high school? What's the transition like in junior high school?
In junior high school, I was bad. I was bad.
Was that some of the buildup of the bullying or what?
Yeah, it had a lot to do with
You said you was in the ring for 10 years, so
it had a lot to do with what I was going through at home and being bullied.
Yeah.
And the schools that I went to, as far as high school, they didn't like black people.
Okay.
So I stayed going to school fighting, trying to figure out how I'm going to protect myself or trying to figure out how I'm going to dodge this person or whatever the case may be so I don't get caught slipping.
Yeah. When did you realize or have other friends living with sickle cell?
Actually, all right. I never had any friends that had sickle cell until about maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
I met Omika.
My playroom, my family. Yeah.
So I met Omika, and I met a friend. Actually, he's a gangbanger. So I asked him, bro, what you do when you go to jail? Like, you go to the med?
Yeah.
Or, like, nah, man, what you mean? Like, I can't act like, I'm sick, something wrong with me, so I got to stand on the front line.
Wow.
Like,
and he got sickle cell?
He got sickle cell, full blown, and he's a thug.
Yeah.
But, me personally, I got sickle cell and jail is not for me.
So you met Omika?
So I met Omika, and we exchanged numbers and got to talking for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And time passed. I met Diamond Ray.
Yep, D-Ray.
I met Diamond Ray on the train because he had a hat with the Band-Aid symbol.
Yeah,
no pain
gang.
in the playroom.
Exactly.
So, I seen that symbol on Facebook, and I told him, like, ain't your name Diamond or something like that? I don't know you, but I seen your logo.
That's cool.
So that's really the only ones that I know and that I have talked to. Actually, it's one more. Her name is Leah.
Mm-hmm.
And she was cool. Well, we kind of fell out over sickle cell.
Okay.
Because
different points of views.
Yeah, I felt like, I didn't like the lifestyle I live. I'm not safe to walk around with a port compared to somebody that's raised in the hills or driving a car or something like that. When you
so that port for you is a weak spot for sure. It's a weak link. Not
bro.
going down. I appreciate that.
Spot.
I appreciate you being open and sharing that. That's very, very important for people to understand that. Sickle cell is an individual disease anyway, so you got to do your own research for your own life and see what works for you as far as your pain. So very understandable.
Right. And another thing I want to
go ahead.
I want to speak on sickle cell sex.
Go ahead. Let's go.
All right. So y'all got y'all own definition of sickle cell sex, and that's when they don't want two people to mate that had a trait.
Yeah.
But my definition of sickle cell sex is trying to reach the climax and start going into a crisis before you can finish it. So
what?
So, well, I'm a lesbian.
Okay.
And so my last episode before I went to Washington, D.C. was in February.
Okay.
And You know, I was doing my thing. You know, it was in doggy style.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't in doggy style, but I had the girl in doggy style.
Okay.
And I guess by me trying to hog it and be greedy,
exerting yourself.
yeah, you know, my knees started feeling like, you know, my knees started having a little pain. So I'm like, oh, okay, my sickle cell about to get to kicking in. Let me lay down and go to sleep.
Right.
It's gonna wear off.
Right.
Nah, I woke up about, this was like around 5:30. I woke up about 7:40, and my pain was from 0 to 1,000 real fast. So it was to the point where I couldn't walk. And even like with oral sex,
okay,
you know, like trying to reach that climax.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of cardio going on.
Man, you you know, you gotta burn cardio.
Are you hydrating yourself? I mean, what's your water?
I stay hydrated.
Okay.
I stay with a gallon of water, but I guess I be trying to reach that climax that I lose oxygen to the brain.
Okay.
And by me losing oxygen is that what causes me to go into a crisis.
Okay.
Because of the lack of oxygen.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's the red blood cells carry the oxygen.
Yeah.
So if you got lack of oxygen wherever in the body, especially in the brain, you're gonna you're done. It's over.
Go into a crisis. So yeah, I had to.
So
tap
you
out.
mentioned and I appreciate you. You mentioned stop sickle sex. There's I have a PSA about are you having sickle sex, which is pretty much saying that sickle cell is inherited. That you can't pass it. It's not an STD. It's inherited.
Absolutely.
So
it's not an STD.
Tell them again,
people,
it's
get
not.
it out your mind. It's not an STD.
It's inherited. So that
hereditary.
That PSA is saying that you can't have it having sex, but your baby, if you pass that gene and this woman passes that gene,
your baby
then
can
your baby
get the full blown.
And that's what that PSA represents. Now I have another campaign for Stop Sickle Sex, and that campaign for you guys out there listening is really pretty much broken down to 3 categories, which I see is as Stop Sickle Sex is awareness, education, and prevention.
Right.
So when you're talking about stop, you're talking about people being aware of sickle cell, all the different aspects of it, sickle cell. When you say the sickle part of it is people living with the disease, sickle. And so the sex is where I come in that campaign is prevention. Because again, if you're not aware that you have these inherited genes, again, thalassemia trait, C trait, D trait, there's hundreds of different hemoglobinopathies that you got to be aware of your ancestry.
Right.
You know, sickle cell trait fights malaria. It has a purpose in life. Fights malaria in those parts of the country. But their campaigns are about malaria and mosquitoes.
Right.
Over here, we're advocating for pain and treating and being treated properly.
Right.
So it's a difference. And so to have that campaign, some people, I get a lot of flack for it because of it was created to get your attention. Stop sickle sex. Not saying that you can't have sex, but it's saying that to be aware of those
of who you have sex with.
Exactly, very important.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everybody needs sex, so can't stop sex.
But you added another flavor to it about that part of it. So I appreciate you bringing that part because I don't think I've had a guest that actually was able to speak on that level of having sickle sex in that aspect of it. So I appreciate you for being open and sharing that.
Thanks.
Educating the world.
Absolutely. You got to know if you don't know.
Move up to the mic.
Oh, you got to know if you don't know, you need to try to figure it out. How you going to know?
Now, tell me about today, living with sickle cell today. What is it like?
Living with sickle cell today, I'm 29. Before the age of 25, I done had 2 strokes. I found out I had glaucoma. And now my body is numb. What? I can't really, do things that I used to do. I had an ex take me to Knoxbury Farm.
Yeah.
I ain't never been there until with her, and so I got on a ride. Once I got on that ride, it was like my whole body just got numb. Numb. So once I got off that ride, it was just like, all right, my body numb. Like, what is it to do?
Right.
And, after that little experience, I'm like, all right, something is wrong with me. And I guess because I don't go to the doctor and get checked every day, I didn't know I had 2 strokes.
Wow, silent ones.
Yes. So
the numbness is still present?
Oh, yeah, the numbness still present.
What does it feel like?
It's like a tingly feeling. It feels like, you know how you like sit down for a long time.
Like almost
and your
going to sleep.
Yeah,
like it's going to sleep.
Absolutely. So that's how I feel like.
In your hands or all over?
Yeah, in my hands, mainly in my hands, and then, but at the same time, you know, I be like confused because I don't know if it's numb because of the nerves from the IVs. You know, but I mean, I'm pretty sure it don't take that long to heal. You know, I barely got a feeling in my toes.
Really?
Yeah, but due to a lot of IVs and stuff, like that pen cushion. When
you found out you had the silent strokes, what did they tell you?
Oh, I was laying up in the hospital for pneumonia. And about 7 or 8 doctors came in the room, scared the shit out of me. And they was like, yeah, Miss Price, whatever you doing, you need to stop doing it.
No more Nosbury Farm?
No, on the serious tip, he was saying stop stressing. Because stress can kill.
Stress? You got to say that for him one more time. Oh. Not even with living with sickle cell, just overall.
Stressing is not good for the body.
0.
Before the age of 25, I done had 2 strokes. So from the age of 19 to 25, it ain't no telling when I had those strokes. But stressing is not good, and it will kill you. Yeah. And the doctor told me whatever it was that I was doing, I need to stop doing it. Yeah. Because the next one I have, it could kill me.
Did you know what he was talking about when he said that?
Nah, not at first.
Not at first?
Nope, not at first. I'm like,
you had to go home and reevaluate life and be like,
absolutely.
Yep, you're gone. Yep, you're gone.
Absolutely.
Yep, you're done.
All the headache girls, everybody.
Right, everybody, you're done. So what do you do now to find your peace?
I'm a poet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a poet.
You got something you want to drop?
And I didn't get a chance.
All right.
Let
me put you on the hotline.
I got a line or 2, probably 3.
All right,
maybe
give me 3 lines. Give me a few lines.
All right, it has been 3 months too long. I almost forgot about this chronic illness I have called sickle cell anemia. We always fuss and fight. We could never agree to get things right. We always agree to disagree. And that was it.
Sound like a relationship,
right? I wish
you just wrote this right now.
Yeah, I just wrote that. I wish I could get a divorce.
She over here right now. Over here writing poetry in the studio.
I wish I could get a divorce. You know, that's one person I can't get a divorce from, and get Prima. What is it, Prima?
So I want to ask you this, and then this is a serious question. Okay. Me and Diamond Ray talk about this. Have you accepted living with sickle cell? Or do you resist it? Like, do you own it?
Bro, how I feel, I own it.
You own it?
I own it.
Cool.
Because it was something I was born with. And it's something that will never go away. It's something I deal with every second of the day. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, I can't disown it. Yeah. I got to love her like my wife.
For sure.
You know, so it is what it is.
Before I let you go, did I miss anything that you want to share? I got one more question for you, but is there anything that you want to share about growing up living with sickle cell that I missed or we didn't touch on? I want to make sure you get your...
Nah, you hit everything on the nose, you know, but it's a real big thing to have support. Yeah. To have that family support, to have that friend support. No matter where you are, what it is, and how far you are. If that person love you or they say they love you, they will reach out to you no matter what. Right. Even though we tend to distance ourselves from society.
And we do that.
But
on our own.
Right. So, you know, it's always good to have support.
Okay. So my last question for you is, what do you want the world to know about sickle cell?
What I want the world to know about sickle cell is you can't catch it. It's not like AIDS and, you know, HIV. It's a chronic illness that's hereditary and that's made through 2 parents coming together with the trait. And that's how the baby get the full-blown sickle cell disease. Right. So I'm just saying, get tested, get your partner tested, you get tested. Make sure you keep your kids hydrated. It is the summertime and it's hot. It's hot as hell.
Even if you got the trait, you got to stay hydrated.
Definitely.
We need more water than the average person living with these inherited genes. So thank you for sharing that. Being tested, sickle cell trait screening is very important. I'm a prevention advocate, so that's my number one. Sharing this message. But at the end of the day, you got to know the genes that you carry. So what's in your genes is another one of my campaigns to find out for people. So thank you for coming here.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. Give your social media out to the people so they might catch some of your poetry somewhere one of these days on Twitter and Instagram. Where you at?
My name's Tazzy P. That poetic one is Tazzy P, TAZZYP _ Wait.
I see all them underscores.
It's Tazzy P _ that THAT _ poetic one.
What was you thinking when you wrote that?
Underscore.
Oh, no, underscores, huh?
Look, _1, number 1. But you can also find me as under Candace Price on Facebook, CANDICEPRICE, and you will see me right there with the state capitol in the back as a background. But another thing, like you was asking me, like what I do to help me cope with sickle cell. Of course. And I wanted to bring up the nonprofit organizations that I'm involved in.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so the producer that wrote Project X, Hangover 1, 2, 3, and Due Date, Road Trip, and so far and so on. I'm gonna be real. I'm an ex-convict.
Okay.
And he deal with people that have been incarcerated, people that's trying to that want to get on the right path in life. Because one thing about us, we believe in second chances.
Of course.
So we are the reason why a lot of people is getting out that committed their crime as a minor, and they are an adult now.
Right.
So after doing so much time, we fighting bills. We going to Washington D.C., talking to the president, having different meetings with Congresswoman Karen Bass to make a change. And my other nonprofit organization is Inside Out Writers.
Okay.
And what they do is they have volunteers to go inside the juvenile halls and teach kids creative writing.
Wow.
And they are one of the reasons that I'm still alive today, because growing up in a broken home, I became suicidal
right.
in the 3rd grade. Wow. And so
you gotta come back then.
All right, absolutely.
We got some more stories to tell. We'll give you a full hour next time.
Oh, a whole hour to myself. That'll work.
Yourself, all right?
That'll work.
I just want the listeners to know if you hear what she says, she's living with sickle cell, but she also advocates for other things. So you got to look in your life. Your life is not over. Sickle cell does not define you. She's advocating for more than just one thing about her life. So please follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IamWDC. Van, man, thank you for running the boards for me back there. And
thanks for listening.
Point. Candace, again, thank you for the studio guests in here. You can't see them, but we got some guests here. Shouts out to you for being here. WDC Radio every Saturday right here on LA Talk Live. We're more than just talk. Streaming live from Atlanta, New York, DC, New Jersey, Philly, New Orleans, Washington. We all over. LA Talk Live. WDC.
Have a good day. Good evening.